You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Asshole consulting the day before the 4th. Young man writes, could you do this shortened version for 40? I removed the backstory and made it more general. There you go. I'm not kidding. You send me 8 pages, you're looking at $70, $60 on the cheap. Short and sweet, guys. Short and sweet. We here at Asshole Consulting not only are helping you kids not fuck up your life, we're doing infinitely more to teach you about professional writing than your English composition class ever did. And I mean freshman comp, both your freshman year in high school and freshman year in college, and then all the other English classes you oddly have to keep taking, even though you're well over 2 decades old and highly fluent in English. But that way we employ the English majors and teachers and professors. You don't know how to do English because you don't have a doctorate, and like me, I are so smart. 1, how do I handle not having anything to do at my desk? I mainly read somewhat related technical things that I am interested in. We have an open office, so I am reluctant to do anything that doesn't look like work. And we bill hourly, so I cannot work on side projects and then bill the client for that time. All right, the old classic, how do you look busy at your desk? Depends on the type of job in your environment. In your case, you have an open office, so you may not have as much freedom as somebody with, an office or their own cube. But to answer everybody's question in general, I'll address yours specifically. You always bring in your own laptop, and you always work on your other stuff, your other business, your other thing. You do not use the company's computer because they can see what you're doing, but then also they can say, hey, we own a piece of that now. So you always bring in your laptop. That's a little hard to do if you don't have a lot of privacy. So then the other stuff that you can do is you run errands using your phone. Anything to save you time. I wrote about this in Bachelor Pad Economics because this is a real problem. Out of an 8-hour day, if you're just slightly competent, you're going to get through your work in about 2 to 3 hours. So that leaves 6 to 5. Oh, you're just like... And so you may not be able to... Well, there's no work for you to do. They just don't have that much work because bosses are incompetent fucks. So you may not be able to start writing your latest novel or start programming some new code and break out a whole new laptop, and because that would be a little bit obvious. But what I would write, anything that saves you time that you don't have to do after work. So you try and do all your chores. You try and pay all your bills. If you can leave the office, you say, I'm going to go take a long lunch. Whatever it is, so anything that saves you time down the road or in your day, that's what you can do. So again, it really is dependent upon your cube and your job and your office and the nature of your work. But anything that you can do that is not going to be traceable, tracked on their computer system. I mean, you could probably pay a bill using their computer. They're not going to care. But anything. The rest of it, though, some people, it just sucks. Sometimes, the nature of your business, the nature of your job, you just have to sit there. So then it becomes looking busy. I've learned the art of Alt-Tab. I always have an Excel spreadsheet open, Alt-Tab. Another thing I could kind of get away of where it would meld is you could do work that you do that to the untrained eye, to your dipshit boss's eye, would look like it's work, but it's not. For example, when I'm working in banking, to the buildup of the housing bubble, I was doing all this research on real estate and housing prices. So if my boss ever looked at my browsing history, he'd say, oh, he's doing research on edge. There has something to do there. Another way you could perhaps do it is continuing professional education, CPE. We just need our CPE. You start getting training. You educate yourself, take some online courses, stuff like that, and that's in the industry, that's in your business, so that your boss would say, holy shit, look, he's taking initiative. He's taking more classes in a seminar. Take a Khan's Academy class, something, and they say, well, look, that's really good. And if they ever say, why are you doing, we saw you, what are you doing taking these classes? Say, well, I had a little bit of downtime, so I'd like to skill up a little bit, we can offer more value to you guys. Oh, and you're like, fuck that. The reason you're doing that is so you can go apply for a better job. Or you could work on your own stuff. So skilling up in your profession that is germane to your job at that time, that's another way that you can still skill up, still save time, have practical application outside of your job that can't keep up with you. And then also has this plausible deniability where you could just say, well, yeah, I'm just skilling up for this position. This is all for you. It's all for you, babe. And Management's pretty stupid, though. Leave it. 2, long-term, what is the trade-off for culture, boredom, and difficult/interesting work? The place I'm at now has a very good culture, but the work is moderately difficult at best, and there's not enough to keep me busy. Okay, I'm going to say it again. I want every millennial and even Gen Xer, some baby boomers to hear me out on this. All jobs suck. All of them. And the trade-off for working in boring, difficult, challenging, or no work at all, which is probably the worst of them all, is that you are paid. You are your employer's bitch. It doesn't matter whether you have work to do, or you're playing pickup sticks, or you're jerking off in front of a mirror like all liberal and social justice warriors do. You are their bitch for that amount of time. We pay you $80 an hour. I gave you $800. I now have 10 hours of your time. And so this is kind of almost the opposite of what I was saying before, but it is true, and it's a good thing to understand that, because it makes you realize it doesn't matter what you do. I had this epiphany in 2005 where I was working at this credit union. They couldn't keep up with me. I'm like, what goes on? Come on. And then I finally realized it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that's 10 hours or 8 hours of my life I'm not going to get back. Whether I was doing productive work or not, whether it was helping me out after hours or not, it's 8 hours I'm not getting back. So then once I realized that, I didn't care. I started, they wanted me to file and fax and scan. I was doing all this clerical shit, and I finally realized it doesn't matter if I'm using my degree or not, because these 8 hours a day I have to be here anyway, so fuck it, what do I care what they're doing? Another classic story from the old caposphere. Guy at my last job, what was it? They were going to switch my job yet again from analyst economist, and they wanted me to take on more of the, because they're so mismanaged, they're such fucktards. They had the federal government up their ass, they had the federal regulators up their ass, and all this bullshit we had to do with compliance, because they just fucked the pooch beforehand. And he's like, yeah, I know this wasn't in your job description. I looked at him and I said, Mike, his name wasn't Mike. Mike, did the checks bounce? And he's like, huh? I say, when you guys pay me, do the checks bounce? He's like, God, I hope not. I'm like, they don't. So I don't care what you have me do. And that's the attitude you need, right? You are getting paid. All jobs suck. Get used to it. So long term, what is the trade-off for culture, boredom, and difficult/interesting work? The place I'm at now has a very good culture, but the work is moderately difficult at best, and there's nothing to keep me busy. Yeah, welcome to the real world, son. Welcome to corporate America. And you think corporate America is boring and not keeping up with you. Wait till you go work in the fucking government. Wait till you're a fucking teacher. Holy shit. Little second graders are they're the most challenging part, but the management and the principal and the state and the superintendent, oh fuck, those guys are dipshits. You want to talk about slow. So the trade-off is you get paid and you shut the fuck up. That's basically the trade-off, all right? And it's going to help you out a lot more in the long run to realize it doesn't matter if the work is boring or not. That's why you're paid. So if you get to the state where you're programming high-end level shit, and then all of a sudden it's like, what, you want me to fax? Fine. And you don't care. You just put on your headphones. It doesn't matter. It's the same fucking 8 hours those assholes bought of your life, and you're not going to be able to do what you want anyway. Right? So that's the trade-off. Currently, I've been planning on a hard 3-year cutoff for working at any company, since I am in software. Moving every 3 years is recommended for a career progression. All right, that's recommended, but you're taking a rule and applying it universally when it should not be. You have to play it by the situation. You have to play it by that particular company. If all of a sudden it looks like they're grooming you to become vice poobah, and vice poobah gets a $100,000 raise, well, oh no, it's 3 years, fuck that. No, you're being an idiot. Play it by ear, all right? So I would not be, insisting that, it's 3 years and I leave. I understand that's a good policy. That's kind of good to keep moving around, because that's how you get promoted and you make more money. But don't make that a hard and fast rule. I feel like I would miss out on my chance to spend time with my good friend working for at any company, since I am software and moving everything. I feel like I would miss out on my chance to spend time with my good friend who started last month if I left sooner than 6 months from now. Should I consider staying longer to work with my friend? Well, this is a perfect example. Do you want to? I mean, is the job all right? Does it pay? Is it somewhat challenging? Do you have a compelling other offer right now on the table? You should always be applying for other jobs. That much is true. Because you don't want to be applying when you desperately need the job. You want to be applying like when you have a job in hand and you're going to go find another one. Then you can play the two off of each other. That's your second part-time job, is always applying for another job. But yeah, do you like your buddy? Do you want to stay at this place? Does it pay? All right. Don't think the grass is greener on the other side. It isn't. But, why not start applying for jobs now anyway? Who knows? Shoot for the moon. You might get $150,000 at some new job with real challenges and responsibilities. But if that doesn't come, you don't have to quit because it's 3 years and then you don't get to hang out with your buddy. Hang out with your buddy. If that's another reason to stay at work. Here's the thing. Everybody keeps thinking that the career is the most important thing in the life. It's not. Your career is a goddamn tool to generate money to live your life. Your career should be put dead last. And I know college and K through 12 and teachers and professors and especially women in feminism. Feminists have just told women their career is the number one thing ever. The career is your number one enemy. You want as little to do with this necessary evil as possible. And you make it work for you. I would argue that you should spend time with your friend outside of work. But if it makes work more enjoyable, sure, why not? But I like the policy of jumping lily pads, finding a new job. But you gotta have a better offer on the table. Otherwise, this jump every 3 years ain't gonna do it. So you have to apply for other positions, have other job offers on the table. Then that might work. And then, bring your buddy over. If your buddy says, dude, these guys are fucking us over. This is really bullshit. Hey, come over to the XYZ Corporation. They don't fuck us over. They just kind of fuck us silly. It's a little bit better than the place where we're getting ass raped. Here's just vaginal raping. Over there it was ass raping. And they're like, oh, cool, I prefer to get vaginally raped as opposed to ass raped and get paid a little bit more. And that's work. That's work. Do you want to be throat fucked, ass raped, or vaginally raped? That's work. Choose your poison. Oh, it's just going to be flowers and candles and ice cream. I'm just going to be romanced away at my job. No, your job is there to fuck you over. Just wake the fuck up. All right, that's all we got. I hope that helped out. Some more wisdom from the captain. Yeah, guys, your career is not your friend. Your career is not you. Do not think your career is supposed to be rewarding or challenging or anything. That's a lie. That's probably the biggest lie we've ever told the millennials and Gen Xers. So. All right, we'll see you kids later. Toodles.